Last season Towson was picked 10th in the preseason, then earned a playoff berth for the first time since 2013. This year, preseason picked second. Expectations probably a little bit different externally. So what has your message to the team been this year?
Well, it wasn't really about rankings a year ago, and it's not going to be about rankings this year. It's where you finish that matters. And we set some goals last year. We want to get back on the national stage, retrieve some respect, get back on the discussion of prominence in this league and nationally. We did all that, but we set the finish line too short. We got better, went to the playoffs. We got our respect back. But then we realized that wasn't enough. And the offseason has been about that. It's about changing the finish line, and it's not getting to the playoffs. It's a finish line that should be in January somewhere. So that's been the mentality. We worked very, very hard on that. And we worked hard on understanding that playoff games are played in bad weather, and that it's not like a bowl game in a pretty town where it's warm. It's a transcontinental mess to get to Frisco, and that you have to accept it and you have to kind of roll around in it. So we did spring ball just like that.
Last year you guys were the top offensive team in the conference, and a lot of that credit goes to Tom Flocco, who earlier today was recognized as the preseason offensive player of the year. As you look at Tom, what makes him such a great player, and what has he meant to your program?
Well, he's got a great skill set to begin with. He's a great passer, he's incredibly athletic. Add to that he's incredibly intelligent. An individual that graduated undergrad in 3 years from going to 2 separate schools is almost unheard of. So you put those two things together, you probably got a good player. But he's a leader, and he is a tireless worker. Whatever he's done that is good is not good enough. Once he's reached the level of good, it's time to be disappointed, because we can do better. And he's contagious. And it touches everybody he's around. He's made the offense better, he's made the team better, he's made me better.
And aside from Tom, you still feature several other top skill players in the conference, and Shane Simpson and receivers Shane Leatherbury and Jabari Allen. How do they all complement each other?
It's really odd and special when you take a whole bunch of talented individuals and take away their egos. And not because I took it away, they gave it away. That winning and being a part of something this special is more important to them than individual statistics. So they just go about working to be as good as they can be to help everybody else, and lo and behold, their statistics are awesome. And that's the lesson that you want to teach these kids, that with group success comes individual accolades. And they're all wide-eyed, loving every bit of it, because they love each other, they work for each other, and they're all getting benefits from it.
And defensively, you made a bunch of strides last year. You returned 7 starters. What are the expectations for that unit, and who are some of the guys we should keep an eye out on?
That unit itself probably underachieved a little bit last year, and while there were some good strides in some ways, some critical spots that we needed help in, and spent the offseason working on that, technically, but more philosophically. So we're going to be multiple as a defense, and Robbie Hayward's going to tell us where to go. He's one of the hardest working dudes. Like, when he tells offensive linemen what to do, they look and go, oh, okay, you got it. And not because he's the biggest guy or the loudest guy. Robbie does it right every time. Robbie has everybody's best interest in heart, but he has the team's best interest front and center. And with him, where he goes, we will all go. Keon Pay's probably got more starts under his belt than anybody on defense in this league. And he's on the cusp of having a breakout year. Terrell Gillette's had awesome offseason, and a great leader in the back end. In the front end, I could name like 7 guys, but Bryce Carter's going to tell all of them what to do, and I'm going to listen to what Bryce Carter says, because he's earned that right. So it's a solid group who's kind of hungry to prove themselves. And if we can hold the bar up on offense, which is a challenge from last year because we set it pretty high, and then raise it on defense, we're going to have a chance to be pretty good.
And looking back one more time at last year, you were one of the 6 CAA football teams that earned berths in the FCS Playoffs. How significant was that historic achievement, not just for Towson, but for the conference?
I think we talk about it, and it's clearly a point of interest, but I don't think any of us are going to understand how big that is for another decade. That people are going to look back at last year, at these teams, at this conference, and they're going to go, wow. And I don't know if that'll ever be done again in any conference. It's too rare, it's too hard, and there's too much competition. There is no conference in America that better prepares you for a chance to win the national championship. But there's probably no conference in America that hurts your chances to win a conference championship because of how hard it is. So I credit to all the coaches and the players that made it to the playoffs last year, but even everybody else in the league, because while we say 6, there's a conversation about 2 other teams that were that far away to begin with. So it's a brutal conference. It's awesome. Great coaches, great players, and we're all just lucky to be a part of it.
Good deal. Thanks, Coach.
Anytime.
Appreciate it.